The lights on the starting gantry are red, as you expect. They come round the final corner onto the start-finish straight. It's very tight, Virage Dupont, and as the drivers stream around the latter half of this enormous field, 6 hours of racing are almost upon us. Just waiting, and the lights go green. It's a brilliant start from Jules Gounon. No mucking around for the driver now from Andorra, and a real challenge. The Ferrari is being pushed very hard. Robert Schwartzman, Dennis Marshall in the battle for third place, but it's Mercedes 1 and 2 as they were on the grid, and Marshall ahead. And in fact, I think Schwartzman has lost 1, 2, 3 positions perhaps, as he gets monstered by a whole group of Audis. In behind is everybody going to get, well, most of them have stayed on the track between turn 1 and turn 2. That's very good, but that start from Raffaele Marcello was sensational. Joe, what do you make of that?
Yeah, I think there was the Mercedes team orders we saw. It looked like Gounon went a little early and created a gap for Engel to slot in, and that gave Schwartzman the issue of the Ferrari. And I think Marshall did a mega job then to read that and follow through. Even though there was a bit of contact as we go through into turn 6, 3 wide all the way. The guys there will be trying to get a good exit onto the back straight, because if you get a kilometre an hour more there, potentially going to get 4 or 5 cars down this long Mistral straight. As you see cars running wide, bit of contact, car off, maybe even into the wall there on the left-hand side. It's going to be hard to get out of that gravel trap no matter how far off they've gone.
Oh, that's the Barwell. Is that the Barwell car?
That's the prime class leader, car number 78, so that's the car came with such high hopes here, really high on their toes, and unfortunately it was going to be a faller. That was Rob Collard, who's taken possibly someone else's contact, but
and big off for one of the Mercedes going exit stage right at senior.
It's car 87, that's I think Lorenzo Ferrari's gone off.
Safety car.
Well, I'm not too surprised with that. So clean and tidy. We were patting all the drivers on the back metaphorically as they got through turns 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then the problem started, and there's a car running in about 10th position with a front left puncture, I see, as they come back. Dries Van Tor watching on from the pit garage, so the safety car will be coming out of pit exit to greet these cars as they come round. So all that good work at the start from Jules Gounon to make his pole position come into the lead of the race, and Mauro Engel tucked in behind, the good pros they are. But there is, you can see the contact with the concrete wall by the looks of things for Rob Collard, which suggests it's at an angle of trajectory which isn't the norm at a circuit.
There it is, you've got the 3 wide in the middle, and I think you're about to see Scholzer get into it. That's where he tried to go for the inside line, and he just lost the back end trying to squeeze it in.
Yeah, the TV camera always flattens it out, but so we're going on board now with Rob Collard, the guy that we know is going off in the wall. So going around turn 5 here, you can see it all kicking off, looking for a space. We know everyone's 3 wide. We've got Scholzer in that yellow Mercedes there on our right. Rob will be pretty happy with his position here. He's going to be trying to follow that other Lamborghini in front. Opens up to him. I think he's going to use a little bit too much curb on the left and also contact with the Mercedes. And it just bouncing around, doesn't it? Just takes it round, the weight's on the front of the car, and the rear comes round. It's still a big old hit that into the wall.
Yeah, it's the slightest love tap, and that's all it takes when you're already trying to make the trajectory of the turn. And that's where it all. Now, where did Scholzer lose it? Was it Scholzer he was side by side with, and is that where the car spat out? No, that's a weird incident for the 87. Ferrari just lost it in the middle of the corner.
The drivers are looking, you can hear the engines go, we're all gone. Everyone's trying to minimise that gap to the car in front. Looks like Schwartzman struggled there. We've got probably 3 or 4 gaps in front of him. And then you've got to stay behind the car in front until the control line, the finish line, which is about 150 metres out of this corner. Then you can get going again. But good restart by Engel. He's right on the back of Gounon there.
Absolutely fabulous restart from Engel, but it's Mercedes. Then we have 3 Audis and then come to the 2 Ferraris. That's the top 7, but the order between the Mercedes at the front. Gounon is still ahead of Engel, but the driver looking very, very intense down into turn 1 with the driver in 3rd place, and a little bit of passing further back, but it's Dennis Marshall with Fred Verviche full of intent behind him. But those 2 Mercedes may be able to stretch through a little gap. That's they want. They want the fighting behind them down through the sweeper of turn 3 they go, all good. Dennis Marshall right on the tail of Mauro Engel, that black Audi, looking very busy indeed. The brighter one behind him with Fred Verviche also getting closer to those cars in front. And in behind, these are the moments where whenever you get a restart, when the safety car withdraws, there is a chance, not a guaranteed one, that you can make a move. And this is what the drivers are looking for.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened from the green Lamborghini there in the shot on the Mercedes. He actually looked like he broke late to defend getting overtaken by the white Porsche, which turned into a lunge, and the Mercedes had to leave him space, otherwise they're taken out. So he's actually gained a position by defence. And look at the slipstream effect, that Mercedes being hung out to dry. He was the one punching the hole through the air, and even another Mercedes able to get a run on it. So the slipstream effect is so big here because the straight is so long. It just keeps going and going. It's lovely when you're in it, but it's awful when you're the guy punching the hole for everyone else.
There's Valentino Rossi. He's mixing it in the middle of the pack, trying to work his way slightly further forward. So he tries to battle in there. I think that's with Hofer. He's just battling away there with the Audi, just trying to get himself up another position. Not a bad start for Rossi. He's only lost one position in the middle of all of that melee. Be very easy for someone like Valentino, who's still trying to learn the BMW in the middle of this fray, to get it wrong, as several others did. And he's kept it nice and tidy for the time being. He's having a whirlwind season. Bovey got the move on Perez Compact as well, so the Iron Dames have moved forward. And now Gioffoli is going to try and make the move on the inside of Bourne in the Porsche. Go on, Rima, commit. You can roll on the power and get back through. Nicely done. Rima Gioffoli gets it through at the halfway point of the apex, and now it's up to Sarah Bovey to try and drive right round the outside of the Porsche. Brilliant from Rima and Sarah. The ladies absolutely on the charge. Great driving.
And we've got a Lamborghini in the pits. What's the problem with that car? They're having a good look around it. Hard to see from the shots we're getting exactly at the moment, but all of these pit stops are out of sync. This cannot be a positive strategy for their race.
That's the leader in silver.
Saw a bit of damage on the rear left there. Looked like the legality panel had gone missing, so hard to see exactly what had happened. Some contact for sure.
Dennis Marshall in second place ahead of Mauro Engel. So we've had a change for second place overall. Let's take a replay. We had the white and black Mercedes in second place with Mauro Engel. He's got Dennis Marshall up behind him into scene, up in front of him into scene. So he moved ahead up the straight. So he clearly had a fantastic exit from turn 7.
That third place Porsche in this battle. Lamborghini getting the slipstream. The Porsche are going to try and work together, or they're going to go 3 wide. I think it looks like the latter one at the moment. Lamborghini, as he cleared that first one, you can see the heat coming out of the brakes. He was on the brakes so hard there, and I think that's why the rear came round, run wide. Porsche's got another chance to get down the inside. Looks like he's given that one up, and now we're 2 wide with the other 2 Porsches. So intense in this part of the lap. One bit goes for you, then suddenly it swings back the other way.
Wasn't it just? Absolutely so. But again, it just showed if you run wide onto the dirty stuff, it really is very filthy, even in its early stage. But for the green Lamborghini, that's very good news. Dennis Olsen being challenged around the outside. Yes, around the outside by Joel Sturm. Joel made that stick at turn 1 and was still on the track at turn 2. Well done. 1 hour of racing has now been completed, and we have the first 2 cars covered by 2/3 of a second, and then Mauro Engel in 3rd place. He's fallen back a little bit, but look, he's going to get a whole load of traffic coming out into his path. Race leader Jules Gounon gets in, gains a little bit, but Dennis Marshall wasn't slow at coming forward. There is the black number 40 Audi, and in behind the background of the shot, you should have just about picked out the 777 Mauro Engel Mercedes, but that's a classic moment. They're having a brilliant battle. Cars come out into their path.
Santalok Audi just pitted as well, so Christopher Mies has just come into the pits as well. So that's another of the big players coming in. Here we go, time to compress down. You've got some slower traffic in front. Where are you going to pitch it? If you're Dennis Marshall, you've just got to be hungry. Look for the gap. Go where the gap is. This is going to be quite tricky to negotiate for Jules Gounon. He has to hesitate and wait to get past these 3. Marshall is right on the charge, and he is going to get the maximum effect from this slipstream now, because they've got 2 or 3 slower cars in front of them as well. Wait for it. Here comes the charge from Dennis Marshall. They hold the middle of the road. Jules Gounon trying to shake him off as they come down to senior. They're going to get the side draft as well. This could be the opportunity for Dennis Marshall to take the lead. There's not a lot Jules Gounon can do to fight it. They're going to go door to door. They bang paint. They trade paint as they go up to senior. Brilliant stuff, and Dennis Marshall can't get by just now. Jules Gounon coming into the pits. Now this is going to be an important one, because obviously, having seen how good the stop was for Dennis Marshall in the Audi, they've now got to respond. They've got to make sure they don't drop the ball in pit lane.
Waiting to see who's going to flash down the start-finish straight in front. It's going to be the 88 Mercedes coming down the pit lane. That's on the left of your screen. Coming over the rise is Matthias Drudy. Will he get in front? It's going to be very close indeed. I think
he's going to do it.
Yes, he absolutely will. And look out for the Almanar Racing Mercedes. That's in the background of the shot. So what was first, second and third has become second, first and third, or something like that.
This is the fantastic battle going on. This is Malikin versus Haupt, dueling away for the lead, and that's what happened to Malikin. Spun the car around, a car that has been leading for quite a long time now. The question was, did he fall over or was he pushed? Well, Sarah is in the car, but Schwartzman has obviously taken over. So this is going, oh, contact, and around goes the Lamborghini. Disaster for Andrea Caldarelli. He just didn't time it right.
Well, the Mad Panda Motorsport Mercedes just up in front, and yeah, there was the driver who's doing the attacking in that group, was the driver of that green Lamborghini, Mirko Bortolotti. So much success in this championship over the last half dozen years.
It's just because there's so much lock on that front axle that's going as it kicks off now. Gachet really held up. I think Wittmann's going to be the man out of the three here. He's the third in the train, but he's the one with the biggest run. They're going to be three wide side drafts going on for days here. It's going to be interesting to see how this pans out. What's Wirtz got? They're jinking as a driver. You're calling bluff of each other. 260, 270, 280 kilometers an hour. Wirtz has got a draft back. Gachet comes. We know that car isn't the quickest in the straight line, but with a double toe of a BMW, he might just live to fight another day and hold on to his P4 position. It's Wirtz that loses out to Wittmann. That was incredible.
The simple principle in Simon Gachet's mind at the moment is stop Wirtz getting past me into scene. So he's compromising his own line, which compromises both of their lines, but he's determined to hold on to that fifth position for Sansalot Racing and having been passed by Marco Wittmann, the German racer, and the other BMW is now 2.5 seconds, probably even more clear. And again, right in the curves, and this is very busy indeed, because that battle in front of Daniel Serra's come right onto his nose. So that has been a real benefit for the Ferrari driver, completely as predicted.
I really love Daniel Serra's choice of positioning here. He's made this happen. He's really crafted it well. And there was contact, I think.
No, I tell you, I just think a couple of corners ago, I thought that Wirtz was going slowly. I think he picked up a puncture going down through turns 2 towards 3. He just couldn't get it to turn in, or something has broken on that car after the contact, but he suddenly wasn't running the way he should have been. He'd fallen back onto the nose of Daniel Serra's Ferrari, and then through turns 4 and 5.
Well, this comes back to last year, doesn't it? We had some problems at the end of the race last year with people getting delaminations and punctures. It happened a lot towards the end of the race in particular. So it looks as though once again it's going to cause his issues multiple times. And Charles Wirtz has stopped out on the circuit at Sector 1, yellow flags. We could even get a virtual safety car here.
So here we go, on board, into turn 3, turn in, over the curb. All looks relatively normal at the moment for me. I'm trying to see his dash, just see him lit it up a little bit on traction there. There was contact on the right side, and look, you can see his frustration. I think it's something broke there and then. He's weaving left and right on the steering wheel. I would say the front right steering arm has been snapped.
And you can see that Serra's got the corner, but Wirtz is still turning. It's the slightest touch.
I think I was wrong. I don't think there's any contact there in that outboard shot. The inboard looked like it. It could have just been a super coincidental timing of the steering snapping. Let's have a look. I just didn't think there was contact there.
No, there isn't.
Unless it's his front right on the rear left of Serra's car. It's only just.
Now this potentially is the move from Philipp Eng on Fabian Schiller. This time Schiller's saying, you want to try me? Go to the outside. And it looks like the move has almost been done. This is where the Wittmann car has been so strong, coming up the rise into scene. Nope, not quite. Yes, okay, fully outside and almost contact there. That was a moment in which, again, we were going to park our breathing habits up here in the commentary box, but the move was done from Philipp Eng. He's always been a tough, feisty individual, and that showed bravado as part of his quiver, if you will. Surely this time there'll be a change for second place, or will Timo Boguslavski somehow manage to hold on?
This time inside for him, normally easier than the outside, just needs to break a meter late on Boguslavski, which he does at the start, gets it on the inside, too much curve, really hopped it up. He was lucky that didn't snap, you can actually see a bit of air under his front right tyre. He took so much curve. This is interesting now. We've got a little bit of traffic, unfortunately, but I think in the next 5 or 6 laps, we're going to see some fast laps coming from Eng. And what is that going to be able to do to close this gap to the lead?
Unsighted, Schiller's got ahead of Boguslavski. There they are, look, they've switched. So Schiller's got past Boguslavski. Not entirely sure where that happened. Hopefully we'll be able to pick it up, but that's finally Fabian Schiller getting through. I think he's finally got fed up of looking at that rear diffuser. Is it going to be a last corner send? It is! Oh my goodness! Fabian Schiller, he really knows how to turn on the charm, doesn't he? Brilliant move.
That was a big question asked, and Boguslavski would have been well within his right to turn in on him there, but like I said, turn in and you both crash out. It doesn't really matter whose fault it tends to be. We see Gachet walking away there, looks pretty tired, doesn't he? A double. Paul Ricard is one of the easier circuits I find as a driver from fatigue, just because the straight is so long. You've got time. You can see the car control talking to the fuel guy. You've got a car going slow out of scene there. Rear right punch potentially on that. What car is that? No way race leader. This is going to spice it up. So this was a 30-second lead.
Yeah, no problem.
Right
Look.
at the end of his stint. So this isn't too bad. He's cutting all of the corners he can to minimise this time loss. We need to see where Philip Eng is. Was that him just in the back of shot there? Was that the other Rover car?
This is just like last year.
But this is going to be super interesting. They're so lucky this is in their window. He needs to slow down. That is going to start destroying bodywork very quickly.
Yeah, it's already doing it. Look at it. The right rear, it's already doing it. There goes Schiller. He's gone through. So Eng's already gone through then, clearly. But this is totally the worst timing for this. I mean, yes, they're going to have the pit stop, but you need to slow this down. Slow it down. You're going to break the car. Big time, big time. And this is the difficulty as well, because this is what we saw last year. We saw lots of delaminations. We saw lots of tyre cuts. We saw punctures. And it's just happened again. This place is so rough. Schiller pitted at the same time, so they've decided to take that opportunity and go, right, well, let's maintain this. Let's keep in front of them. Let's match them, and then we can actually leapfrog them. So Philip Eng continues on. So there is Fabian Schiller in the car, and I think he's staying on board. Ricardo Fella, I think, is staying on board as well, but that's a massive hammer blow for them. Cost them 13 seconds in the second sector, sorry, and 27 seconds they cost themselves there in the third sector. But I absolutely agree with you, Joe. I think the speed in which Fella came into the pits with that puncture, that really could have done some serious damage to the Orange Tracer Audi at the back rear quarter. What terrible luck for Ricardo Fella, having been so dominant, and then to get a puncture when leading by 27 seconds. It's just what this championship is all about. It's done, yeah, they can't get it working.
You can see the frustration there. That is
game over.
Gutting.
This has just been given a massive adrenaline kick, this race, hasn't it? The Ferrari's coming out then. Are they going to jump ahead of the Merc? No, they are not, but they've gained a massive amount of time. Was that Caldarelli just jumping past the two Ferraris and now right on the tail of Boguslavski? I think that's Caldarelli. So this is going to be the mother of all battles, as Caldarelli on the outlap is now trying to outfox the Acadis Mercedes. That's been quietly brewing in the corner there, that Lamborghini, and now they are absolutely in the hunt for the win. Here comes the chance from Harper. He's been all the way down towards Senior. Now they're going to try and make their way through with the hairpin. This is the opportunity for Harper. He's going to try and nail it, and he's got it. Absolutely perfect from Dan Harper. Yet another textbook overtake.
Here we go, we've got 2 hours and 11 minutes remaining, so most of these drivers have got 10 minutes left, and Timo Boguslavski's got back past Dan Harper. Let's take a look. Looking back.
Turn 5, you see Harper ran wide, there was a lump.
But in front of him, you can see Dan Harper got locked, and Timo Boguslavski wasn't looking to make an overtaking manoeuvre, but it was there on a plate, and you don't ask twice. 88 in the pit, so Timo Boguslavski has completed his double stints. He's soaked up so much pressure, so that means Raffaele Marcello will exit and complete this race. He will have 2 hours and 5 minutes or so to go racing. His car came in was 5th, became 4th, and then became 5th, and then back to 4th again. But 88 going back out, not with Timo Boguslavski, but now when it crosses the white line back onto the racetrack, it should tell us it's Raffaele Marcello. Again, now,
Lamborghini rear left.
Lamborghini rear left. Now, which of the Lamborghinis is that, and where exactly was it in the lap?
Caldarelli is in the middle sector, so I'm just watching the sector times of Regon and Nielsen come through in the next few seconds. Caldarelli.
It's a Caldarelli car. Philip Eng diving into the pits. The name goes red at the top of the screens. That means that the British driver in the combination, Nick Mullally, will be ready to take that car through to the end of the race. Will it head to victory? We don't know yet, because those behind are closing in. Most notably, Raffaele Marcello should be up into a podium position fairly shortly by dint of his speed and the early pit stop. And also look too for Dan Harper's car now being driven by Max Hess. That's making very, very good progress.
Looks like we've got a bit of straight line speed advantage, even though both Mercedes, again, depending on the wing angle, even the rake, Stoltz going to defend, going to the outside, Marcello down the inside, last corner move. Stoltz going to get good drive on the wider but less angled corner out of there. Is he going to do it? Marcello on the outside. This is going to be interesting into T1.
He's going to get the better acceleration though. They're going to go side by side, and he's going to get side draft on the run to the first corner. This is all going to be about how brave Lucas Stoltz is going to be into the first corner on the brakes. He is brave. He decides to go for it. Marcello backs out and he thinks, right, well, I can't get you there, so I'm going to get you on the Mistral. In fact, I might even get a better run out of turn 2, and I might just be able to send it up the inside into turn 3. He's going to commit to it. This is going to need to be brave. They bang doors, and that has forced the Almanar car wide. He's going to get back on the road in front. So that is going to be an argument from the Acadis team. Advantage by contact, but it's not going to matter anyway. He's going to come back to the inside line. Careful, boys. You cannot ding-dong these Mercedes around the Paul Ricard circuit without taking some scalps. They both drift out wide as again Lucas Stoltz tries to defend from Marcello, and these two drivers are banging 7 bells out of each other.
You saw Marcello lift his hand up in frustration, and you don't see that often. Stoltz is never going to let someone go around the outside and at 1, but I did think the 3 had given Marcello the door. They didn't want to lose space. Marcello now down the inside. Stoltz giving him the room. Interesting, I did feel like Stoltz gave him the space into 3, then decided to fight back, cut the corner, and then more contact again. That was super interesting, really risky on both parts, but shows you for a podium position what you're willing to put on the line.
Now, unfortunately for Iron Lynx, Iron Dames, their 83 car, Michel Gatting was going to be bringing it home, but unfortunately it's being put back into the garage. Patrick Niederhauser was very, very slow turning into the final corner, but McLaren's looking very good with second and third fastest times at that point. And then the change has happened. How did he just finally manage to do it? The pressure was on. I didn't even see a previous lap. And again, we just wondered why suddenly Patrick Niederhauser was so slow going to turn 16 on the previous lap. I was looking to see when they got to that point, which will any minute now. I didn't expect a change to happen there and then. We'd seen that speed trap figure through seeing the brilliant exit speed of the driver, who's now just got second place, but that was a surprising one. Patrick Niederhauser had been hanging on to everything, and he's really lost second place, and he might lose third as well if he suddenly has another problem like that.
1.2 seconds is the gap. He has just completely hammered Yellerly's advantage on the last lap, a second and a half. If he makes that up on this lap, he's going to be in the lead by the time we come back round.
It's closer and closer and closer to Nick Yellerly.
They both drifted a little bit wide through senior that time, and look, Marcello is actually off the road trying to catch up to Yellerly in front of him. There is very little between them in terms of position on the track. Now surely you're not going to send that. I'll tell you what, Yellerly is definitely thinking about the final turn though, isn't he? He's got so much raw speed that the throttle application is immense compared to Yellerly in front. He's just a sitting target in the Rover BMW. Round the outside of the penultimate turn, up the inside, send it, Marcello in the lead.
I've never seen anything like this. The pace he is lit up. You touched on it, Bruce. His pace has been metronomic, within tenths. You watch his onboard, it looks out of control, which shows you he's extracting every last second of it.
We live in hope of further change. It's looking as though it's going to take something extraordinary to shake Raffaele Marcello with the 88 Mercedes from the top of the tree in the lead of this race. Prime Club leaders still. Has been such a good run for Car Connection Motorsport with their Porsche there. Alex Fontana, Swiss racer. Good to have him back in the championship, and he is running very nicely there.
Oh no, the McLaren!
But that's the car that was leading the Bronze Club. Chavez pulls the side. Arjun Maini surely will sweep by. He was nearly 30 seconds in arrears, so it was a big, big margin for Garage 59. This is super painful. Left
dear,
wheel.
oh, the wheels come off.
So the marshal will absolutely, the wheel has come off the wagon there. So for how long that was finished.
And Maini has just gone through.
Past, here we are, what's left on the clock, 7.5 minutes to go. I said this race always has a sting in the tail, but for a driver under no pressure at all, Enrique Chavez, the hard work had been done.
That's a rare failure.
That's extraordinary.
You can see the wheel burying itself on fire. I was worried he was going to go back to the future for a second with the fire dropping out of him, but Marnie would have been counting all his Christmases at once.
Time is up, and the Fanatec GT World Challenge Europe, powered by AWS Endurance Cup second round, looks like it's going to be cantered home by the Mercedes, with Raffaele Marcello at the wheel. The Acadis car that got onto the front row of the starting grid did a fantastic job, banged it on pole position. The combination of Marcello, Gunnar on Boguslavski, so strong.
The final corner negotiated, the power put down for the final time. The lights flashed to those on the pit wall. Why not blind your pit crew? That's exactly what Raffaele Marcello does. He's had form, he's now allied that with fortune, and lights are flashing. Wins in the Endurance Cup are super special, but the longer races are the ones that really have the attitude and the atmosphere. A victory here at Paul Ricard in the 6 hours, chalk it up to a Codis ASP. Lucas Stoltz crosses the line in second place, and Patrick Niederhauser, I think, is just holding on Nick Yellerly by under a second at the end in third and fourth position.
And there's the gold victory. Maxime Soulet taking the victory for the Conti Racing Audi. And then in the Bronze Cup, we know it's going to be the Haupt Racing Team Mercedes. Arjun Maini is going to take the victory in fantastic fashion. But the Tracer Attemptor, they're going to come through for the victory in silver. Riccardo Patrese, boy done good.
dark here. It's gone midnight, and there is confirmation. Raffaele Marciello, Timo Bogoslawski and Jules Gounon taking victory for a Codis ASP with their Mercedes. 10 seconds to good over another Mercedes. This is from Team Almanar. Maro Engel, Lucas Stolz and Fabian Schiller. It was very tight indeed in the gold class, down in the 9th position at the end. Max Hofer, Nicolas Baer and Maxime Sula, who brought it through to the finish at 2 seconds ahead of the chasing Marius Sug in the Winwood Racing Mercedes, shared with David Schumacher and Nicholas Maud in 14th place. A late inheritance of victory in the bronze class for Ham Racing Team with their Machivi. Silver Cup class, it was Treasure Attempto Racing winning that one. Alex Arco, Pietro Dielagoanti and Lorenzo Petresi taking victory in that class in their Audi in 15th place. Overall victory going today to Raffaele Marciello, Timo Bogoslawski and Jules Gounon. They're doing the spraying of the champagne. Team Almanar up there as well, and the blue-suited Sansalot Racing Audi crew on the right-hand side of the podium. All three of them have got a very tidy helping of points.